Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
That was a waste of my life. Can I get that time back, please? What a waste of 3 to 4 hours. What a disgraceful performance by this team, specifically Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson. When your top dogs perform like that, it's miserable. No matter if you win 23-9, no matter if you are leading the NFC East at 3-4-1, how are you supposed to feel good when your two top guys that you need to be elite every single time you touch the field on game day, when they put on a piss-poor performance like that? There's no other way to feel than disgusted, miserable, upset, sad, frustrated. I can't get over what I saw from those two. The defense, they only allowed 9 points. And it's funny that the Jim Schwartz haters were ready to rip his head off and fire him after the first drive when they scored 3 points. They scored 3 field goals, and Jim Schwartz had a phenomenal game. Not that he deserves a pat on the back for beating DiNucci and this Cowboys team that were trying the most pathetic high school football type plays to create some offense. But with what you saw after the first drive, you could imagine that these people felt as if Jim Schwartz was going to get blown up for 500 yards and we would see another scenario like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I mean, relax. It's 4 minutes into the game. I was getting people tweeting at me, "Brodes, you're an idiot. I told you Jim Schwartz sucks." Like, what are you doing? It's 4 minutes into the damn game. But I digress because I do understand that the defense deserves praise. TJ Edwards, holy hell. Brandon Graham, phenomenal. Came up with a big play that helped swing the momentum early in the game. Hargrave's name was called out there a couple times. So the defense deserves praise. But once again, it's so hard to feel good about this victory no matter what their record is now, no matter what can possibly happen after the bye week. That was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous from the most powerful two individuals on this football team. The most impactful people when you head into game day. Sucked. And it got to the point where I questioned Carson Wentz for the first time in my Eagles fandom life when Carson Wentz was here. And I'm not saying to the point where you cut him, you trade him, you get rid of him like a lot of these obnoxious Carson Wentz haters claim they should do, but to the point where I thought he deserved to get benched, where he deserved to watch Jalen Hurts go out there because what he gave you and the product you were getting, it's unacceptable. It's not allowed. You can't continue to play games like that and expect to get the snaps because you're putting your team in such a bad spot against a historically bad defense. Now, by the way, we are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. This Dallas team, they were allowing over 20 points in first halves consistently. The Eagles scored 7 points. 7 points in the first half, and they were down 9-7. How? How is that possible? It's a joke. It really is. There were so many little things throughout this game that defined that type of battle. I feel bad, and I can't believe I say this every single week now, but I do. I feel bad for non-Eagles fans and non-Cowboys fans that sit through this. Why do you sit through it? You could probably throw on some reruns of Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, The Bachelor, anything but that football game. I would never in a million years watch that if I didn't have to for my job. I started off the pod by saying, can I please get that time back? That was a waste of my life. So I feel bad for everyone involved, even the Eagles fans and the Eagles media members and the Cowboys media members, Jerry Jones, who needs to sit through that, Mike McCarthy, who needs to sit through that. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for anyone involved who has to watch that football game. Seriously. The Cowboys had nothing, absolutely nothing offensively to the point where they're throwing gadget plays in there. You got wildcat formations. You got DiNucci doing whatever the hell he wants to do, throwing it sidearm. He was doing anything. And then just their formations. They had no clue how to create any sort of offense. So they were going out there with the mentality of go have fun. Like middle school football. Hey guys, go have fun. Just go make plays. Just go out there. Work hard. Compete. While you have Carson Wentz throwing 2 interceptions, 2 horrible interceptions, and those 2 fumbles. Can't happen. So let's start with the rollout, the first one, the first fumble. Where was he going there? So he escapes, he rolls to his left, and you can see the field when they show the camera angle. Who were you looking for? What type of play were you trying to make? Carson, sometimes the defense wins the play. Sometimes you won't have anybody available. Throw it out of bounds. Throw it away. Live another day. You don't need to take that type of hit, and you don't need to put the football on the ground. It's okay if the defense wins a play, and I get it. The beauty of Carson is extending plays. But sometimes just throw it away. You need to get it through your damn head by now. And honestly, when it happens this many times, it tells me that somebody's not informing this individual what he needs to do. I got to look at the coaching and say, are you telling him to do this? Because if you're not, shame on you. DeFilippo was extremely hard on Carson Wentz. Is this coaching staff hard on Carson Wentz, or do they just live and die with this being who he is, and you'll take the great plays for the bad plays? And I know that's who he is at this point. Like, at some degree, you need to accept that, but at the same time, you got to drill more into him. You can't just allow him to play this freely, because it will result in a 4-turnover game and all around an unacceptable performance. I would have sat him. Now, he responded in the scenario where I would have benched him and put Jalen Hurts in. He responded with a touchdown drive, a nice throw to Fulgham, which helped the Eagles take the lead. But I don't care. I don't care. You need to show him that this isn't okay. So it wasn't only that play where he got hit when he rolled out to his left, looked for nobody, and took the hit. There was the 4th down fumble where they went for it, and there was clearly a play wide open in the middle of the field. He gets rocked. It would have been a turnover on downs anyway, but Seth Joyner said this perfectly on the postgame show on NBC Sports Philadelphia. That type of play, you know that that's what you are looking for. When you snap the football, when you know the play, that is where you are looking on the field. Where else are you going? You know that's going to be the open area. You got to deliver. Now, it was tough, and there's some still frames on Twitter flying around that I think makes it seem it was way more wide open than it was, but the throw was available. The option was there, and does that come down to a lack of preparation from this coaching staff to the quarterback? Are they prepared enough? The question was asked. When you look at Carson Wentz, why is it so different from 2017 to now? And Seth Joyner gave the answer of, he's not prepared enough. This coaching staff isn't preparing the team enough, and Carson Wentz is out there thinking about other things. And like in 2017, he would have known, go there. Just go there, count 1, 2, 3, bang, throw it. It's there. You know it's there before you snap the football. And now it's not the same way. And I'll get to Doug Pederson because, man, he is unbelievable right now. He's pissing me off big time. I can't stand it. But I also can't stand Carson Wentz. Both of them together, what are they thinking about when it comes to the game of football? It's so hard for me to comprehend what they talk about, what they do on game day. How do they come together when it comes to these games? It's crazy to me. So the bomb he threw into double coverage in the back of the end zone that got picked off right by the out of bounds where his shin was in. Why are you throwing that ball? First off, the wind was brutal, right? So why are we throwing all these footballs? You had that play, and then you had to throw to Hightower, where Hightower clearly lost the ball, couldn't really track it well, overthrow, picked off. Why are we even going with that philosophy? I'm okay with taking shots downfield, but you're going up against a garbage defense, and those are the plays we're trying to live with. Oh, by the way, during that stretch, you had Boston Scott, who had 7 yards per carry. You get away from running the ball. Boston Scott, he was getting seams wide open, 10 yards, picking up chunk yards, and then he goes away from it. I'm not shocked. This is who Doug Pederson is, but how can you be an NFL head coach, see the success, and then feel the need to go in another direction? Oh, throw bombs to Hightower. This isn't Deshaun Jackson. This isn't DK Metcalf. I'm intrigued by Hightower, but I thought that there were a couple times today he showed you his flaws. You saw him lose the tracking of the football. The wind probably had a lot to do with it, but then there was another play earlier on down the left sideline where he stopped running, he stopped competing, he allowed the contact with the defender to slow him down, and it made the play look worse than what it was. Hightower, intrigued by him, but that's not what you should live and die by when you're going up against this Dallas Cowboys defense. I can't believe it. This defense sucks. They suck! They are so bad! And the Eagles can't move the football on them. You got Wentz making boneheaded decisions, turning the ball over 4 times. This Cowboys team, they don't turn people over. They don't. Yet they look like the Bears in the 80s against Doug Pederson in this offense. Come on. So those 4 plays on Wentz, I just can't even comprehend it. Now you can wonder, should Doug Pederson, instead of going for it on that 4th down play where he ended up getting sacked and it was a fumble, but it was a turnover on downs anyway, if you knew you were going to go for it on 4th down, why would you run the play that you did on 3rd down? Why not run the ball on 3rd down, get you closer to 4th down? I feel Doug Pederson has lost his sense when it comes to calling the game. He has been such a terrible play caller this season. There's no flow. I'm telling you, I'm not even making this up. I firmly believe that he has no clue what plays he's calling. He closes his damn eyes and he just points. He just points and guesses and thinks, yeah, you know what? I think this one will be good. Oh, you know what? Maybe this play will be good. Doug, there is a flow and a sequence that should happen when it comes to play calling, and you don't have any feel for the game. How can you be a successful play caller without any feel? If you know you're going for it on 4th down, draw up something way better on 3rd. There was another 4th down. It was 4th and 1, and they went for it. Carson Wentz is in shotgun and tries to throw it to Fulgham. Now, did Fulgham get held? Maybe. I don't care. The philosophy was so poor. You have Boston Scott, who's been running the ball successfully. You need 1 yard, maybe even QB sneak it. Who knows? Maybe you don't have to go to Boston Scott. But you got 1 yard ahead of you. You're in shotgun and you're throwing it to Fulgham when you're going up against a defense that flat out cannot stop the run whatsoever. It's about the mindset. It's about the logic. I don't see the logic. And that's why I'm as frustrated as I am. It would be different if I understood it, if I saw it, if there was some sort of blueprint that made sense to you after a game, whether it was just poor execution or, someone messed up here and there and the offensive line got beat. It's like, okay, I at least saw what he saw, but what happened on the field, the execution part made it fail. This is not the case. This is not the case. It starts with Doug, and it goes to Carson Wentz. I give them both 100% of the blame. I'm not going 50-50. I'm going something that doesn't even make sense. They're both getting 100% of the blame. See, I felt okay over the last handful of games, whether they were losses to the Ravens or the Steelers and that win against the Giants. Carson Wentz wasn't the Carson Wentz that we saw throughout the first 3 games. You saw moments in that game where it was like, damn, Carson, that's it right there. Damn, Carson, that's the Carson that we expect you to be. You saw the first 3 weeks of Carson Wentz in this performance, and I can't live with that. I flat out cannot live with that at all. That is not something that you can continue to work with as a franchise. If this is the Carson Wentz you are going to get more times than not, you got to do something. Jalen Hurts gets playing time. I'm normally not the overreactor when one thing goes bad. I'm not, hey, fire this guy instantly, move on from that guy instantly, trade for this guy instantly. But what you saw in the first half, you can't justify that. I give Carson Wentz a lot of credit. I give Carson Wentz a lot of the benefit of the doubt at times. Offensive line's banged up, not a lot of weapons. There is no way that you can defend Carson Wentz. Now, I haven't seen anyone try and do that, but if there are people out there who feel the need to support him and use something as an excuse, there is none. Doug Pederson being just as bad as Carson, that's not an excuse. It definitely relates to why he is failing, I believe. But Carson Wentz, come on. As much as Doug Pederson tells him what to do, shows him what to do, some of these mistakes, it's flat out on Carson Wentz when he's in the moment. It's wild what I see sometimes. So that 4th and 1 shotgun play that I mentioned at Fulgham, that turned into 3 points on the other side. Hurts had to delay a game in the red zone. Now, it ended up not costing the Eagles because there was some nice plays afterwards. Boston Scott had a nice catch by the 2-yard line, and that's when Jalen Reagor had the touchdown by he got in at the goal line. Did he get in? Did he not get in? It was super close. Maybe the hair of a ball went in there, just the tippy top. There was a hair on the ball. It crossed the goal line and it counted. And with Jalen Reagor, I liked his game today. I know the stat sheet won't pop. I know the stat sheet won't tell you that he was very insane and very successful, but I saw a lot of things out of Reagor, specifically early in a drive. There was some pre-snap movement. They got Reagor the football and allowed him to operate in space. Really like that. There was another play where he made a defender miss and he got a first down. It was around 6 or so to go until a first down. Maybe it was 2nd and 6. That sticks out to me in my head, around that area. Made a defender miss. Boom, got the first down. And then that last play, he had the 2-point conversion as well. And all these 2-point conversions are starting to irritate me more and more. Jalen Hurts almost gets his body blown up there at the end by the goal line. Come on, dude, what are you doing? By the pylon. These 2-point conversion plays are getting outrageous, way too much. I don't know where he's getting this information from, but it's to an elite level, and it needs to calm down. You don't need to go for it every single damn time. Once again, I don't understand the logic whatsoever. It's not making much sense to me when it comes to Doug Pederson's blueprint for these games. But with Jalen Reagor, at the end, it was 4th down. Time was pretty much done. The game was essentially over. It looked like the Eagles were trying to catch the Cowboys off guard by pretending they weren't going to snap, and it was a quick hike. And Jalen Reagor turned his body around, went up against the defender, high-pointed the ball, went up and got it at the highest point. But it was a nice punch-out. But I liked everything I saw in that play. He just has to come down with it a little bit more aggressive on it. It was a nice play by the defender. But all around, I know the stat sheet won't say it. I saw a lot out of Jalen Reagor that I think can be very beneficial to this team. And then, of course, with Fulgham, he made some really nice plays, and he finished the day with another awesome performance, and it's consistent at this point. So, look, there was a big turning point for me in this game, and it was after Wentz in the first fumble. Brandon Graham forced a fumble, and he has been magnificent. I don't even think magnificent has been the word to describe Brandon Graham. I'd say more like a superstar. Brandon Graham has been a superstar defensively for this Eagles team this season, and Reagor had the pre-snap movement in space. Boston Scott was getting a ton of runs. Reagor had a really nice catch where it was just a low throw. Defender near him went real low, caught the football, went to Fulgham down the left sideline. That was a beauty. And Scott had the catch at the 2, which I mentioned after the Hurts delay of game. And that was big. I mean, look, you are down. You fumble the football. Brandon Graham comes up big. You go down and score, and now the game sort of changes a bit. Now the Cowboys came back, had some field goals, made it 9-7, But that was a big turning point in the game because who knows what could have happened if, let's just say, the Cowboys got into the end zone there. Now you're thinking, uh-oh, are you kidding me? One of the keys to the game for me was starting out fast. This team was dead. The Cowboys team heading into this game, they were dead. They had no identity. They would quit all the time. They did not play for one another. If you went up early, if you went up 7-0, 10-0, this team could collapse so easily, but that wasn't the case. You saw DiNucci early on make a couple plays, and they were running the ball, being a little weird, being a little wonky, moving downfield a bit, and they ended up kicking that field goal. You could say that first drive for the Cowboys, they would walk away from that thinking, all right, hold on a second, that was not bad whatsoever. They probably assumed it would be a lot worse, and that allowed them to get a bit of life. And I'm not blaming Jim Schwartz for it. You know, people were just getting on him. I knew that, look, it's the first drive. It's a quarterback that you didn't know what to expect whatsoever. No one has really seen this guy. The first drive is going to be a feel-out type of drive. They allowed 9 points. So that first drive, I know people wanted to get on Jim Schwartz for it, but I thought that was just so outrageous being so early into the game. By the way, I need to let you know about my friends at DraftKings. DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sportsbook based right here in the U.S., so you can rest assured that your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdrawal at your convenience. Listen to this deal. All new users have a chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 when signing up. Download the app and sign up using promo code BRODES, BRODES. Head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and check out all that they have to offer, including player props, live betting, and so much more. If sportsbooks are not yet available in your state, don't forget of the DraftKings Fantasy app, which offers millions of dollars in total prizes every single week. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Going back to Doug Pederson, though, there was a moment in time where he was going for this trick play where Greg Ward was going to throw the football, sort of like a Philly special type play. And it just concerned me that the mindset for Doug Pederson at one point in time was, let's use gimmick plays, let's use gadget type plays, let's try and be so weird and obnoxious with some of these play calls to beat the Dallas Cowboys. You don't have to do that. That's overthinking. That's overmanaging. That's thinking way too hard. You're trying to do things that you don't even need to utilize. It shouldn't be very hard. I felt he was making it harder than he needed to be. There's no reason to draw up plays for Greg Ward to throw the football against a historic defense that gets shredded every single night by bad teams. The Eagles are a bad team too, and they struggled to kind of wax them at times, but you can. It's there. The opportunity to do it is 100% there. I don't see how you need to draw up all of these gimmick plays. They try and force this down your throat as if they are so creative and they have so many great offensive minds in the mix. No, no, no. It's called bad play calling. It's called having no flow. It's called what? Being desperate at times? I mean, I don't know. Is it even desperate? It's being desperate without needing to be desperate. What the Dallas Cowboys did, if you're a Cowboys fan, I don't know how you get mad at them throwing some Wildcat in there and having some different plays for Ben DiNucci because they are desperate. But when you try and throw this at a Dallas Cowboys defense, it's bad. It's just bad. It's not the same as being in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots going for the win and having the Philly special type play call. That is totally a different time and a different level of play call than this. You don't need to do it. You had Boston Scott dashing through everybody, making some nice cuts, getting some gains. It was stupid, Doug, stupid. It's laughable. All of this is laughable. From the punt with 3:55 to go where nobody knew where the ball was and it took 70 minutes to figure out whose ball it was. From the broadcast making fun of the NFC East the entire game. What else was pretty ridiculous in there? There was another play that I thought was just so damn funny. Oh, the horrendous spot. The horrendous spot on 4th and inches when DiNucci gets no positive yards whatsoever, but somehow they claim that they get a first down all over the place. I mean, there was just miserable events happening that just describes the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys and this division and what they are all about. Can Washington win this division? That's bad. That's my first thought. After the game was over, I tweeted out sarcastically, easy win, exclamation point. People are firing off of me. Brodes, are you an idiot? Clearly I'm being sarcastic. Not an easy win. But my first thought was, wow, can the Washington football team find a way to sneak into first place and win this division? Because it worked against the Cowboys, which shows you how bad the Cowboys really are. Carson Wentz turned the football over 4 times. This might work against the New York Giants, but I really don't think this performance would even beat Daniel Jones and Joe Judge. But you don't have a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell against the Cleveland Browns, the Green Bay Packers, the Saints, Arizona. Oh, these teams are going to murder the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm someone who, normally, when your team makes sense and your team isn't like this, it doesn't really matter how it looks. You're going to have wins where you think, hold on a second. I never thought in a million years we'd go on the road and beat that team. And then there'll be losses where you think, we're never going to lose to that football team. Right? It's just the flow of an NFL season. There's plenty of games when you go through the W's and L's early on. You write one off as a win and it becomes a loss. You write one off as a loss and it becomes a win. That's standard throughout any football team when you break down 16 games. But this is different. And it all starts back to how I kick this thing off. If Doug Pederson and Carson Wentz, if they had any clue on what they were doing, I would feel different. But you don't succeed as an organization when those two positions, head coach and quarterback, aren't doing well. When they are doing a bad job at what they're supposed to do. And that's the spot you're in right now. I felt okay, even though they lost to Pittsburgh. I felt okay, even though they lost to the Ravens, because it was about Carson Wentz's progress from the first handful of games. You didn't see that here. You didn't. You saw a big-time step back, and you can argue that was worse than any of the first 3 games that you saw. The first rollout to the left, my eyeballs were bleeding. I wanted to stab them out. And then you had the second fumble, and you could question on that second fumble, if you want to throw this back to Doug Pederson. I didn't hate going for it, but at the same time, you're talking about a team that's on their 3rd-string quarterback that has a LinkedIn page. Pin them back. Pin them back. They're not going to go 90 yards on you. I know Doug Pederson likes to be aggressive, and he wants to keep the ball with his offense, and he wants them to go downfield and score a ton of points because he wants to be a genius and call all these plays. Pin them back. Pin them back. Once again, overthinking. Making it harder than it needs to be. But instead, you go for it, and then boom, it results in 3 points by the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the other side of the argument is the Cowboys can't move the ball. So if you do turn the ball over around halfway mark and you're at like the 50-yard line, let's say, do you really think they're going to go down and score a touchdown? And they didn't. So if you want to play the other side, I can at least understand it. Like I'm not going to absolutely crush Doug Pederson for that decision, but I do think that is a little bit of an overthink. It doesn't always have to be super insanely aggressive. You can pick and choose your aggressive spots and still be labeled as an aggressive coach. It doesn't have to be all the time, every single situation, no matter what. And I don't know if Doug Pederson can get that through his damn skull. Fletcher Cox had some big plays. He was doing the army crawl. I heard Hargrave's name a couple times. TJ Edwards, though, he was something special. You could see the difference a linebacker can make, and I was very shocked to see TJ Edwards make that type of impact. I don't know if I remember a game being to this degree for TJ Edwards. The game that he got hurt, he was making some noise for himself, and then he left. You're like, damn, TJ Edwards. He was finally getting his name called, his number called a bunch of times, and he was being highlighted for having a lot of success, and then he left the football game. You haven't seen him since. Nate Gary on the IR, you saw a different linebacking core. It's hard to judge how they really played based off the fact that they had no threat when it came to throwing the football. It's easier to run stop when you know that their quarterback can't make a lot of plays, and Zeke is going to be a big focus. But I'm not going to take credit away from TJ Edwards. He was very noticeable. He made the big play, which resulted in a Rodney McLeod touchdown, which should never happen in a million years. Vinny Curry's on his back. They ripped the ball out of his hands. That's just another way to describe how embarrassing this division is as a whole, how that play went down. But TJ Edwards, he made some plays. And speaking of the defense, Slay did not return. At one point, you had Jaquette in there. He left the game, so then you were out of cornerbacks besides Avonte Maddox and Roby Coleman. You had to make some adjustments on the fly. Malik Jackson, questionable. You had no Lane Johnson, which you thought you would have. Mailata started the game. I think it was the second play of the game. He got beat real good, real easy. But after that, he settled in. You know, the offensive line, like at times did they get beat? Sure. But it wasn't anything egregious to me. We've seen some egregious offensive line games this season. This one didn't stand out to me, at least not to the naked eye. Once we get more film and we get the all-22 and we start diving in deeper, obviously, we can see a lot more on certain plays. But, you know, to the naked eye, from first glance, the offensive line didn't scream a big problem. I'll tell you what did, though. This coach and this quarterback. I don't know what you're going to do. You know, I don't know what you're going to do. And I know there'll be people saying Carson Wentz doesn't deserve to play against the Giants. And while in this game there was a moment where I said, bench him. Bench him. Force him to think about what he has done that's been so wrong. Force him to think about his actions and how he can't continue to play that way. I still think he deserves to play next game, but if things go south, don't be afraid to pull the trigger. You can bench him. You can bench him. This type of effort, this type of play, I am not someone that pulls the trigger quickly when it comes to getting rid of guys, trading guys, sitting guys, things of that nature. That, you can't justify it. Now, once again, Carson Wentz came out. He had a big drive. He scored a touchdown. And that pass to Fulgham, by the way, was an exceptional pass. That was a great pass. The problem is, nobody's going to give you a lot of credit for it because you don't deserve a lot of credit for it after you're throwing 2 interceptions and fumbling twice. I expected it to look way better, way cleaner. And I know that sounds silly because this team hasn't really given you that all year long, but that's how bad Dallas is. And I don't want to hear that Dallas isn't that bad, that their defense isn't that bad. No, it is. It definitely is. That's how dysfunctional I thought the Eagles played throughout. Dallas Goedert, he got his first touch, three? His first catch was 3 quarters in. I don't know why that took me so long to get that out, but that did. Well, here's reality. You can call into the 24/7 anytime hotline with the phone number 856-442-9805. I will be reacting to your phone calls in a podcast tomorrow on the day after podcast. I will be utilizing those phone calls on 97.3 ESPN as well. I am on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill from 2 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you can download the free mobile app if you would like to hear us react to the game. We have a ton of great guests on as well, so definitely do that. And I need to let you know about Orbit Energy and Power before I let you go. With over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they are home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure that your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely by offering flexible financing solutions such as $0 down. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. Visit their information. It's all down below in the description. What a nightmare. No doubt about it. That was a nightmare. I guess we are somewhat accustomed to it, though. It's so much pain every time we sit through these games. It's like we see bad play. We watch it happen. We react on Monday. Tuesday, we're still fired up about it. Wednesday, we start turning the page, and we convince ourselves by the following Sunday that things will be different. And it really hasn't. when you think about it. Games look different. I mentioned the Ravens and the Steelers game. Like, they put up a fight against good teams, but they play down to their competition. Do teams who have any sort of positive play do that? No. No, they don't. And that's the situation that we're in, sadly. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.